What if your journey started in a small country torn by conflict? What if your dream seemed impossible from the very beginning? Would you still chase it with everything you have? This is the story of Dua Lipa. From the shadows of war to the spotlight of global fame. Her journey is not just inspiring, it's proof that no dream is too big. In this video, you'll hear her true story, told in simple English so you can learn while you listen. We'll follow her from her early days to her rise as a global superstar. As you listen, pay attention to new vocabulary. Try to repeat words and phrases. And most importantly, enjoy the story. Whether you're learning English or just love great stories, you're in the right place. Let's begin. What if I told you that one of the world's biggest pop stars was once a little girl forced to flee her home because of war? What if I said she didn't always feel safe or even understood? This is the real beginning of Dua Lipa's story. She wasn't born into fame, money, or a fancy lifestyle. She didn't grow up in Hollywood or New York. She was born in a small country many people didn't even know about. Dua Lipa was born on August 22, 1995. Her birthplace, Pristina, the capital city of Kosovo. Kosovo is a small country in the Balkans, in southeastern Europe. At the time she was born, Kosovo was not a peaceful place. It was going through political conflict and deep tension. Many families were scared for their safety. Dua's parents are from Kosovo too. Her father's name is Refugee Lipa, and her mother is Anissa Lipa. They are Albanian. They are proud of their roots, their culture, and their language. They come from a strong, close-knit community. Family and tradition mean everything to them. Before the war, life in Kosovo was more stable. People went to work, kids played outside, and families gathered for dinner every night. But when things changed, the future became uncertain. Dua's father, Refugee, was more than just a family man. He was a musician. He played in a rock band. He was also involved in communication and marketing later on. He always had a creative spirit. That love for music didn't go away. Dua would often hear her dad playing music at home. She listened to songs by artists like David Bowie, Bob Dylan, and Radiohead. This music planted a seed in her heart. But before she could chase dreams, she had to survive. In 1998, when Dua was just a small child, her family had to leave Kosovo. War had broken out. The situation was dangerous. There were bombings, violence, and fear in the streets. No one knew what would happen next. Her parents made a brave decision. They packed up their lives and moved to London, England. They became refugees. Imagine being just a child and having to leave your home. Imagine leaving your toys, your friends, and everything you know behind. This was not a vacation. It was a journey for safety. Dua didn't understand why they had to leave. But she followed her parents and tried to be strong. Life in London was very different. It was colder. The language sounded strange. People dressed differently. The buildings were bigger. Even the food tasted new. Her family had to start over from nothing. New home, new school, new culture. It wasn't easy. But they worked hard. Her parents found jobs. They built a life again, one day at a time. Dua grew up in a house full of love. They didn't have much money, but they had each other. They believed in hard work and never giving up. She spoke Albanian at home. But at school, she had to learn English. At first, she didn't understand the other kids. She listened closely. She repeated words. She tried again and again. Slowly, her English improved. She learned to fit in. She made friends. Dua began to love music more and more. She would sing around the house. She would pretend to perform in her room. Her parents encouraged her. They knew she had something special. They told her to keep going. Even as a child, Dua believed in her dreams. She didn't know how it would happen, but she knew she wanted to sing. And she never forgot where she came from. Her Albanian identity stayed strong. Even in a new country, her roots gave her strength. Her family would visit Kosovo when it was safer. They wanted Dua and her siblings to understand their history. They told them stories about their homeland. Dua grew up with two homes in her heart. One was London, the city where she found safety. The other was Kosovo, the place of her ancestors. She carried this identity with pride. It shaped her music and her voice. It made her different in the best way. She knew how it felt to be an outsider. She knew what it meant to fight for a better life. That experience gave her empathy and strength. She also learned how powerful family could be. Her parents never gave up. They taught her that success comes from hard work. This was the beginning of Dua Lipa's journey. Not with fame or awards, but with courage, love, and the will to keep going. She was a little girl from a small country, but her dreams were anything but small. And this is only the start of her incredible story. Imagine growing up with two languages, two cultures, and two worlds. That was the reality of young Dua. And it made her who she is today. Music was always around her. Even when life was hard, songs gave her hope. Lyrics became her second language. She learned English not just in school. She learned through songs, movies, and stories. She listened carefully and remembered every word. And that's why her music now connects with so many people. She knows what it feels like to be different. She knows how it feels to be heard. As a young girl, she didn't feel powerful. But he learned that even a small voice can grow. It can become a song that reaches millions. That's the power of stories. And that's why her story matters. Because behind the superstar, there is a girl who never gave up. A girl who faced fear but chose courage. A girl who left her home but carried it in her heart. A girl who turned her journey into music that inspires the world. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you were willing to leave everything behind to chase it? That's exactly what Dua Lipa did when she was only a teenager. Her dream wasn't just a wish, it was a mission. By the time she was 11, Dua was already obsessed with music. She sang along to every song she heard. She didn't just want to sing for fun, she wanted to become a singer. But even with talent, the path was not easy. She faced rejection. She faced doubt. People told her the music industry was too hard. They told her she wasn't ready. But Dua didn't let that stop her. At just 15 years old, she made a bold decision. She wanted to go back to London. Alone. Her family had returned to Kosovo by then. But Dua believed her future was in music, and music lived in London. She asked her parents for a huge favor. Let her go back. Let her try. Let her take the risk. It wasn't easy for her parents. She was still so young. But they believed in her dream. So they agreed. And just like that, Dua returned to London by herself. She moved in with a family friend. She continued school, but her focus was music. She knew no one in the industry. She had no contacts or record deals. But she had YouTube. She began recording covers of her favorite songs. She uploaded them online. She sang songs by Alicia Keys, Christina Aguilera, and more. Her voice was powerful and full of emotion. People began to notice. She didn't have a fancy microphone or studio. She recorded in her bedroom. Just a camera, a voice, and a dream. Each video helped her grow. Each comment gave her strength. Each view gave her hope. She wasn't chasing fame, she was chasing her passion. She kept uploading videos. She worked part-time jobs to support herself. She was a hostess at restaurants. She did modeling gigs here and there. But music was always her main goal. She never stopped believing. Every free minute went into practicing, writing, and dreaming. She wrote songs in her notebook. She watched live performances to learn from others. She studied how artists moved and connected with the crowd. She was serious. Eventually, her hard work paid off. One of her videos caught the attention of a producer. And then another. Soon, she was meeting people in the music business. They saw her talent and drive. She wasn't just another hopeful singer. She had a unique voice. She had her own style. And she had something else, persistence. Dua signed a deal with Tap Management. They helped her record Demos. They helped her find her sound. Her sound was fresh. It mixed pop with soul and edge. People wanted to hear more. In 2015, she signed with Warner Bros. Records. This was the beginning of her professional career. She was finally on the path she dreamed of. But this wasn't the end of the struggle. She still had to prove herself. She had to make music people would love. She released her first single, New Love. It didn't become a huge hit, but it got attention. People started asking, who is Dua Lipa? She followed with another song, Be the One. That one caught fire. It became a hit across Europe. Her fan base grew quickly. She went from singing in her room to performing on stage. The dream was becoming real. She kept releasing songs. She worked day and night. She gave interviews, did live shows, and kept writing. She never forgot what brought her there. It wasn't luck. It was effort, risk, and belief. Even as her name grew, she stayed grounded. She remembered the lonely nights, the YouTube uploads, the part-time jobs, the doubts. All of it made her stronger. Her voice got better. Her style became clear. And she was ready to take the next step. But here's what's amazing. Dua didn't try to be someone else. She didn't change to fit in. She brought her whole self to the stage. Her heritage, her struggles, her energy. It made her real. Fans felt it. They saw a woman who had worked for everything. They saw strength. She wasn't handed success. She earned it. And the world was just starting to notice. That's how Dua Lipa went from a teenager, chasing a dream, to a rising star. She took a chance. She believed in herself before anyone else did. No matter where you start, your passion can take you far. If you work hard, take risks, and never give up, you can make it. Just like Dua did. She wasn't born with fame. She built it. And her story was only beginning. Can one song change a life? For Dua Lipa, the answer is yes. That song was New Rules. But before that hit took over the world, Dua was working hard behind the scenes. She was writing, recording, and trying to find her voice. She knew she had talent, but she needed a song that would make people stop and listen. She had already released a few singles. Some had done well, like Be the One. But nothing had gone viral. Dua was determined to create something unforgettable. She wanted a song that people would sing out loud. A song that would help someone feel strong. And then it came. New Rules was released in 2017. It was part of her debut album. At first, the song didn't explode right away. It took time, but then something happened. People began sharing it. The music video went viral. It showed strong women supporting each other. The message was simple but powerful. It was about self-respect and moving on after heartbreak. It gave listeners, especially women, a sense of power. Rule 1, don't pick up the phone. Rule 2, don't let him in. Rule 3, don't be his friend. These lines were catchy, but also smart. They gave advice in a fun way. They made you want to sing along. Suddenly, Dua wasn't just a singer. She was a voice for her generation. Young people saw themselves in her music. They saw her as confident. They saw her as real. They felt inspired. The song became a global hit. It topped charts in the UK and other countries. It racked up millions of streams and views. Dua Lipa had arrived. She was no longer the girl from YouTube. She was now a rising pop star. Her first album, simply titled Dua Lipa, was a big success. It showed that she could do more than one hit. It had songs about love, heartbreak, and growing up. Her voice was unique, deep, rich, and full of emotion. Her style mixed pop with electronic and dance sounds. She stood out from other singers. She didn't sound like anyone else. And she didn't try to copy anyone. Her fans loved that. They called her music fresh. They felt like she was creating something new. Dua began touring. She performed in cities all over the world. From small clubs to big festivals, she lit up the stage. She had energy. She had confidence. And most of all, she had a connection with her audience. Fans sang every word. They wore her merch. They followed her every move on social media. She wasn't just a star, she was a symbol. A symbol of what you can do when you believe in yourself. When you don't give up. Dua didn't come from a musical family with big connections. She built her path from scratch. And now she was walking it with pride. New Rules wasn't just a hit. It was a turning point. It proved she could lead the charts. And it opened doors. More artists wanted to work with her. More fans joined her journey. She followed New Rules with other strong tracks. IDGAF and One Kiss kept her at the top. She was no one-hit wonder. Each song added to her story. A story of strength, style, and authenticity. She was becoming a leader in pop. She also used her platform to speak up. She talked about women's rights. She talked about her background. She never hid her past. She shared how her family came from Kosovo. How they had to start over. This made fans respect her even more. She was proud of where she came from. And she never forgot it. Success didn't change her values. It made them stronger. She supported charities and causes. She worked with UNICEF. She spoke out for refugees. She wanted to give back. Because she knew how it felt. To be an outsider. To be a newcomer. Her music and her actions told the same story. A story of growth, courage, and purpose. A story that resonated with people around the world. Dua Lipa was no longer just chasing her dream. She was living it, and inspiring others to chase theirs. Her songs weren't just for dancing. They were messages. Messages wrapped in melody. And New Rules was just the beginning. The world was ready to listen. And Dua was ready to lead. She knew who she was. She knew what she stood for. And she wasn't going to stop. Her voice was strong. Her presence was bold. And her journey was only getting started. Do you remember the moment when you first felt truly confident? For Dua Lipa, that moment came with her second album. It wasn't just music, it was a statement. After the huge success of New Rules and her debut album, people were watching. Would she rise even higher? Or fall under pressure? In 2020, Dua released her second album, Future Nostalgia. The name itself was bold. It mixed past and future, old and new. From the very first track, it was clear. She had grown. She had transformed. The sound was fresh yet familiar. It had the energy of 80s pop. But the lyrics spoke to today's generation. Don't Start Now was the first big single. It was a dance pop anthem. It was also a message. It said, I've moved on, I'm stronger now. And it made people move. On the dance floor, in their rooms, and in their hearts. The timing was strange. The world had just entered lockdown. Concerts stopped. Touring was canceled. But people still needed joy. And Dua delivered it through music. Future Nostalgia became the soundtrack of isolation. People danced in their kitchens. They posted videos online. The album gave hope. It gave fun in a hard time. And it reminded everyone that music heals. Dua didn't stop there. She kept giving more. She released a remix album with top DJs. She made a live stream concert experience. With lights, costumes, dancers. It was like a real show online. Millions tuned in. It wasn't just music. It was escape, joy, and connection. Her confidence shined through every song. Levitating became a global smash. It stayed on the charts for months. People couldn't stop listening. Her voice was playful and powerful, and the rhythm was impossible to ignore. Break My Heart was another hit. It showed vulnerability. It asked, what if love goes wrong? That's what made her special. She wasn't afraid to show feelings, both strong and soft. She balanced confidence with honesty, glamour with real emotion, pop with purpose. Future Nostalgia won awards. It earned praise from critics. It made her a true global star. She wasn't just trending. She was now one of the top artists in the world. She performed at award shows. She won the Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album. She walked the red carpet with style. But she stayed grounded. She spoke about her journey. She thanked her family. She reminded people that she started with nothing. Her accent, her look, her voice, everything about her was unique. She didn't try to blend in. She made her own space. That inspired fans even more. Girls who felt different felt seen. Boys who loved pop felt proud. People of all backgrounds connected with her. Because she was honest, and her music at heart. She wasn't afraid of color. She wasn't afraid of sparkle. And she wasn't afraid of hard work. Her performances were electric. Her outfits were bold. And her presence was unforgettable. Even when things went wrong, she kept going. A fall on stage didn't stop her. A mistake in a show didn't break her. She laughed, got up, and kept shining. That made her even more loved. People respect real strength. Not fake perfection, but real human energy. And Dua had that. Her team supported her. Her fans lifted her up. And she gave it all back. In interviews, she spoke about mental health. She talked about pressure. She reminded everyone, it's okay to not be okay. That honesty made her voice more powerful. Not just in music, but in life. By 2021, her songs were everywhere. TV, radio, TikTok, and more. Kids and adults knew the lyrics. She became a household name. She wasn't a trend anymore. She was a lasting artist. And through it all, she never forgot her roots. She waved the Albanian flag with pride. She spoke her language. She visited Kosovo often. She supported youth programs there. She helped create cultural events. She showed the world, success doesn't mean forgetting where you come from. It means honoring it. It means lifting others as you rise. Her fans loved her music, but they also loved her message. Be bold. Be kind. Work hard. Stay true. That's the Dua Lipa story during her Future Nostalgia era. A story of growth, confidence, and connection. And it's not over yet. What does it mean to be more than a pop star? For Dua Lipa, it means using her fame to make a difference. To be more than just a voice on the radio. As her music reached millions, her influence began to grow. She was no longer just a singer. She was a public figure. People watched what she said, what she wore, and what she stood for. And Dua chose to stand for something powerful. She chose to be a role model. She started speaking up about things that mattered. Not just in interviews, but on big platforms. She used her voice to raise awareness. She talked about mental health. She supported women's rights. She stood with the LGBTQ+ community. She didn't stay silent during hard times. She spoke about justice and equality. She encouraged others to care too. Fans saw this and felt proud. She wasn't just performing. She was connecting. She shared her real thoughts on social media. Not just selfies, but messages. She posted about world issues and important causes. People listened because they knew she was honest. And they respected that. Dua didn't try to be perfect. She admitted when she felt overwhelmed. She reminded people that fame isn't always easy. That openness made her even more relatable. Young fans felt seen. They felt understood. And she kept building her career with intention. She launched a podcast called At Your Service. In it, she talked to writers, activists, and thinkers. It wasn't about gossip. It was about ideas. It was about learning and growing. Dua showed that pop stars can be smart, curious, and thoughtful. That they can have deep conversations. That they can inspire beyond music. She also stepped deeper into the fashion world. Not just wearing clothes, but shaping trends. She worked with major brands. She walked red carpets with elegance and edge. She was bold but never fake. She mixed glamour with personality. People loved her look. But more than that, they loved her confidence. She showed that style is about being yourself. She didn't follow the rules. She made her own. Just like in her music, she also started acting. She took on roles in films and proved she could shine on screen too. Each move showed her range. She wasn't stuck in one box. She kept evolving. At the same time, she stayed close to her culture. She spoke about being Albanian. She told stories from her past. She reminded fans that identity is a strength. Not something to hide, but something to celebrate. She returned to Kosovo often. She helped build music festivals there. She gave young artists a stage. She became a symbol of success for Albanians around the world. She showed what's possible, and she gave hope. In 2022, she was given Albanian citizenship. It was a proud moment. She smiled as she held the certificate. She thanked her parents. She thanked her country. And she reminded everyone, you can have many homes. London made her strong. Kosovo made her proud. Music made her free. She brought all of it into her journey. Her songs, her style, her voice, all of it reflected her story. A story that continues to inspire. Because being a pop star isn't just about fame. It's about what you do with that spotlight. And Dua Lipa uses it well. She uplifts. She educates. She entertains. And she keeps surprising the world. Every album, every project, every step. It's all part of something bigger. She wants her legacy to last. Not just in music, but in hearts and minds. Not just as a singer, but as a force. And that's exactly what she's becoming. A global icon. Not because she's perfect, but because she's real. She stands up. She speaks out. And she never forgets where she came from. That's why people love her. That's why her story matters. What does the future hold for a star like Dua Lipa? If the past is any clue, it's going to be even more extraordinary. Because Dua's not slowing down. She's entering a new era. An era of confidence, creativity, and control. She's not just following the trends, she's setting them. Fans around the world are watching her next moves. And she's making sure every step counts. From music to fashion to activism, she's growing her impact. Her third album is on the horizon. Fans are already buzzing with excitement. What will it sound like? She's hinted that it will be fresh and surprising. Something different. Something bold. Dua doesn't repeat herself. She reinvents. She challenges expectations. That's what makes her so exciting to watch. You never know what she'll do next. But you know it will be good. Her songwriting is evolving. She's working with new producers. She's experimenting with new sounds. But her voice is still the same, strong, deep, emotional. It connects with people across languages and cultures. Because it's real, she's also building her global brand. She launched Service 95, a lifestyle and culture newsletter. It shares stories, recommendations, and interviews. It's not about selling products. It's about sharing ideas. It's a space where curiosity leads. She includes stories from around the world. Topics like identity, politics, health, and art. It's like a global journal with her personal touch. Through it, she's becoming more than a performer. She's becoming a storyteller and a connector of people Her podcast, Dua Lipa, at Your Service, is another step forward. She interviews authors, activists, and artists. They talk about big questions and real-life struggles. It's thoughtful, it's honest, and it shows her depth. Not every pop star does that. But Dua is different. She's using her platform for something meaningful. She also continues to support her home country. She shines a spotlight on Kosovo. She speaks about her roots with pride. She helps promote Kosovo's culture to the world. She shows that small countries can raise global voices. That dreams can come from anywhere. Dua is not just living her dream. She's lifting others as she climbs. She mentors young artists. She gives advice. She shares her lessons. She helps create opportunity. Because she remembers the girl who started with YouTube covers. The girl who moved to London alone. The girl who believed in herself before the world did. That girl is still inside her. But now she stands on massive stages. With lights, cameras, and millions of fans. And she's just getting started. She's still young. She has decades ahead. More albums. More stories. More impact. She may win more Grammys. She may act in more films. She may launch new projects we haven't even imagined. But no matter what she does, one thing is clear. She will do it with heart, with vision, and with a deep connection to who she is. A girl from Kosovo, a global superstar, a voice for this generation, and a light for the next. Because her story doesn't end here. It keeps going, with every note she sings, with every message she shares. Dua Lipa is not just writing songs. She's writing a legacy. And the world is listening. And that's the incredible story of Dua Lipa. From refugee roots to pop royalty, her journey is one of courage, talent, and determination. She showed the world what's possible when you believe in yourself. What part of her story inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs motivation today. For more powerful stories told in easy English, check out the next video on our channel. Thanks for watching Lang Fac. Keep learning, keep dreaming, and we'll see you in the next story.